pleasant for everybody, and some of the buildings turn.
Yeah, but you could argue that...
In other words, what you're trying to do is educate people and give them whatever they want in their home. In other words, we only design the exterior, you pick the interior. Now here's how you pick a home in the future, so you'll understand. In the Venus Project's design, you sit in front of a plastic bubble, about 3 feet in diameter, and you talk. You say, I want a home. The bubble is the architect. It says, what kind of home? Most normal people, I'm not sure. So different homes appear in turn. Until you say stop, something like that, then she says, I'd like the children's room next to the adult bedroom, and it moves as you talk. Then your husband or your boyfriend says, I'd like a balcony sticking out over the pool. And the machine says, how far out? And you say 8 feet. And the machine says, if you go 12, you can have a dining area. It doesn't override you, it merely suggests. The machines are subject to the will of people. They don't override anybody. They just say, if your bumper is this high on a car and you have sonar in front of your car, you can't hit another car. Now, if you make your car of the memory metal and you dent the fender, you press straight again and the fender goes back out. Who will hate you? The people that straighten out fenders. There's not a thing you can design and stand for that someone won't hate you for it, no matter what. Yes. Somebody over there.
Chuck, I was just wondering whether your concerns about the planet and the resource-based economy ties in with what scientists are saying now about our planet and the way it's moving and climate change and the fact that resources are running out at a faster rate. How would we tackle those problems and make a transition through to the Venus Project if we've only got, say, as scientists are saying, 15 to 20 years on the current lifestyle that we have before we start seeing real problems within the planet's own cycle, like climate change and that kind of thing?
Can you tell me what it is?
It's talking about the problems of climate change. Do you see that that's a problem?
That's not up to us. We have no power. It's up to you. If you don't demand that the government looks into the Venus Project, or that a member of the Venus Project can present it on television. If you say, all I hear from is army people and military people, I don't hear new ideas. Why don't you have the Venus Project on there? That's up to you. If you do nothing, we have no power. Don't put it on. What are you going to do about the tsunami waves? Did you put me in charge of that? I can't do anything about it. Yes.
Thank you. How can criminals and corrupt individuals be dealt with in a world where there are no justice systems?
Okay. First of all, there's no money anymore, you know. So instead of, I look at everybody as a criminal. Supreme Court judges, Parliament, government, all criminal. They've all been paid off. The drug companies pay off senators to carry out their problem. So what are you going to do with the criminals? When you go to the supermarket, you buy a box of Wheaties. If you open the box, sometimes the Wheaties are halfway down. To me, that's criminal. Small print is criminal. So most people are criminals. You don't, when you work in a department store, you don't say, if you go elsewhere, you can get the same product cheaper. You're a criminal. And if your big lips, thick lips are the in thing, you put the lipstick higher than your lip. That's deceptive. The whole thing is this guy with a white collar that says, I now pronounce you man and wife. Who the hell is he? And then if you don't get along, some lawyers say they cost you $3,000 to split. Everybody makes a buck on human misery. So I'm saying today, it's very terrible because people don't act always in your behalf. They act in terms of finances. And the same thing when a doctor says, I think your kidney has to come out. I don't know if he's trying to pay off a new yacht or a house or whether my kidney has to come out. I don't know. I don't trust the money system. So there was a hurricane in Florida, southern Florida, that wiped out hundreds of houses. So I designed a conical-shaped building, like an inverted cone. No hurricane or whirlwind can suck the roof off. On top, I put a turbine, so the hurricane blows it around, keeps the refrigerators going, and the lights. So I asked people, the government does this. It says, there's a terrible hurricane coming, get out of your house, go away. So I was waiting on the freeway and the stopper car and say, where are you going? I don't know, but I'm getting the hell out of here. They don't have a place for you, so we would have hurricane-proof shelters all through the West Indies, tsunami detectors, high wave detectors, and the beaches would look like continuous thing, and the lifeguard would be in the middle, so you can see 3 beaches at the same. You know, when you look into the Venus Project, you'll see all these designs. We don't say we want to build a better world where everybody gets along. We do it how you do that. Otherwise, you have nothing but a verbal hobby. That's what religion is, a verbal hobby.
Do you agree that culture and identity are human rights? And if you do, how would the Venus Project, or your vision for the future, preserve that right?
I didn't get that question either.
Do you agree that identity and culture are a human right? And if you do, how will the vision for the future preserve that right?
Do you believe that identity and culture are human rights? And how would you preserve that in the Venus Project?
Humans are moved out of government, number one. And government becomes cybernated. That means computers are connected to industry, transportation, and agriculture, and they produce food and transportation of goods and services. They do not control people. I want to repeat that. They do not control people, just the production lines and factories producing goods and services.
You know,
So you don't have people in a position to corrupt
Just
anything.
asking about tradition. There was once a guy that came up to Jacques and said, I'm Jewish. Would you permit tradition in the future?
Jewish tradition.
Yeah, Jewish tradition. And he said, sure, we'll permit traditions, but the Klan meets for 25, you know, the Klan's been meeting for 75 years. Would you permit that tradition? They said, no, not that.
So how do you decide? Traditions that have long outlived their usefulness, that have no correlation with the physical world, will be surpassed. If we don't have the knowledge to do that, we will hurt ourselves. For example, in Poland, they believed in the cavalry. The Germans believed in war tanks, and they wiped the hell out of thousands of Poles on horses because they couldn't make the change. In America, there was a general called Billy Mitchell who believed that airplanes could sink a ship. The Navy said never. So they put it to test, and they sank 2 ships, and the Air Force was moved up. Then came the missile men with guided missiles, which said that you don't need men in bombers. You can project a trajectory and wipe out certain factories. And the aircraft people said, you got to have humans flying airplanes. Then after the missile men got in, by the way, they got in, the laser men came and said, from outer space we can burn cities, you don't need bombers, and they fought the laser men. You always got the in-group saying airplanes were good one time, lasers today. Then there's what the Chinese are doing. They're not building warships and airplanes so much. They're building computer jamming systems. That's where the future is. If you jam the computers that control on these equipment, missiles and everything else, that's where it is, not warships and millions of men. So if you're not smart enough to know that, you will be surpassed. Okay.
Sorry, we've got to wind it up there now, guys. Jacques' got another lecture in a couple of hours, and he needs to get some rest. And I hope he's answered all your questions. I mean, you know, he can't remember everything. You can check out on the Venus Project website, and you get more answers that you need. But just put your hands together for Jacques Fresco and Roxanne Meadows.
The Venus Project isn't perfect. It's just a lot better than what we got.
It's up to us. It's up to us now as well. Yeah.
We're all the same. There's no.
It's up to us to do this, not just Jacques on his own.
That tells you what to do.